Welcome back to another episode of the Outsider Sports Baseball Podcast. Corey, Jason, Joe, and Pauline ready to bring you the first week of May. Baseball now, first full month out of the way. Got a couple guys having some pretty good seasons, a couple players really disappointing. But I kind of want to take us back in time. First thing I want to talk about, John, baseball history in Japan. I thought this was really interesting, right?
Mhm.
So records show that baseball in Japan might have been played there earlier than previously thought. Not that it was invented there, nothing like that, but that it was played in Japan a few years earlier than expected. And I thought that was pretty interesting because I didn't realize when baseball was actually first played in Japan. Like, if you had to take a guess, not knowing anything, what year would you say approximately was baseball first played in Japan?
Like what year?
What year was baseball like brought to Japan?
Well, I would say like the end of World War II,
Give
like
me like
around
a
like
year. Give me like a year.
let's say 47,
Originally, it was thought that baseball
1947.
was brought to Japan in 1872,
That is
earlier than expected, right?
that is crazy earlier than expected.
But now new info, basically, some newspaper clippings and, archive stuff from the 1800s says that it's actually July 1869 could be when baseball was first played in Japan. We're not going to know who played or, exactly the right date or anything like that. But that's 7 years before the National League was founded. So not that it was the first played there, ever. It wasn't invented in Japan, but the fact that, baseball was played there that early is pretty incredible.
I mean, it is especially for like that day and age that year. Like, because I mean, there's no internet, there's no phones, nothing. So like that had to come you know
Off of a
literally word of mouth like over the
well, it came
seas.
off of
Like
a US
it was
military
Yeah, I mean,
military
that's
men playing it
crazy.
when they were, docked. But I thought that was pretty interesting that they played there pretty early, and it's given us players, Sadaharu O, you know, Ichiro, Hideki Matsui, all the way up to Yu Darvish, Shohei Ohtani, Roki Sasaki, Yamamoto, future players like Murakami. It's pretty interesting to see that, direct line going back, 150 years or however it is. Next, though, I kind of want to get your thought on something. We've discussed the City Connect jerseys a few times on the show.
We have.
Have you seen the White Sox City Connect?
I have not. I will look it up right now.
Look it up. It looks like the
White
Chicago
Sox
Bulls.
City Connect.
It looks like the Chicago Bulls, and it has also the years
Eh,
the Bulls won their championships embroidered on
Yeah,
the back of the collar.
you
I kind of
know,
want to get your thought on that.
it's not the worst I've seen. I mean, there's some pretty bad ones. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Phillies one at all. That could have been way better. I mean, this is pretty cool. I mean, but it's like the fact you're kind of using another sports team's
Another sport, at
like
least
another
it's your
sport.
city, but
Yeah, but
they
it's
have the
just weird.
championships that the Bulls won embroidered in the back. That's another team's championships in a sport we
Yeah,
don't play. I find
that's
that to be a little odd.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It looks nice. Like it's a nice jersey. Like it doesn't look bad. It's just like it's odd that you're gonna do like a basketball inspired,
Right.
baseball jersey for your team.
I think
That's
it
weird.
looks fine. I think it's
Yeah,
cool, but I would stop short of putting the championships on there just because you didn't earn those. They're not yours. Celebrate
yeah.
from other way. The color scheme is fine.
I mean, I
I
guess you
think
can argue it's the cities championships, like it's the cities, and you
yeah,
put
but
it
I
there.
think you
But
can honor it differently. The championships, again, I think the jersey itself is fine. I think that's kind of cool. If the Mets did a Giants and Jets City Connect, because we both know the Yankees won't do any. If the Phillies did
Maybe
an Eagles
Kevin
one,
Williams can get that changed too.
yeah, he does not deserve to have a beard. If the Phillies did an Eagles one, the Red Sox did a Patriots.
Like, see, those would be cool crossovers, and definitely I would like. I honestly would almost take a lot of stuff over the Philly City Connect jersey right now. I mean, the fact that they got rid of the I think solid red jerseys for what they have now is I'm not a fan.
I
I mean, I
mean,
get it's the city's like flag colors, but it's just it's
what
weird.
City Connect jersey is your favorite out of all teams?
Honestly, the one that I think that's retired, but the one that I thought was I really liked was the Washington Nationals, the cherry like the gray with the cherry blossom ones. I liked a lot.
You know what my favorite is?
Hmm.
I like the Yankees. None.
None.
Just because I think their Yankees jersey, the Yankees pinstripe, and I'm going to sound like, one of those Yankee fans, but it is such a classic that the pinstripes are the City Connect. No jersey, embodies the city of their team more than the Yankee jersey. You see the Yankee jersey everywhere, the Yankee logo everywhere. Like the Yankees and New York are synonymous more so than any other team and city.
I mean, it is. It's like it's iconic. I mean, I get it, but like if you had to pick a City Connect jersey, like if you had
I
to pick
was
one,
always partial to the Marlins Sugarcane City Connect,
okay,
paying homage to one of the old, I believe it was a Negro League team. I thought those were really interesting. I really like those. I also really like the Serpientes Diamondback one, where they were
oh,
like, more like a rattlesnake type. Once I learned about, Patriots Day or whatever in Boston with the blue and the yellow, I appreciated
yeah.
that more too.
I think I liked the Padres one a bit, but that felt one that should have been like a Miami one because it gives off kind of
You're right.
like a Miami kind of vibe,
Absolutely.
like a Vice City Miami kind of
Yeah.
thing
Wear that
with
when
the
GTA 6
colors.
comes out, whenever that is,
Yeah, next year or if it maybe who knows
if
at
that.
this point.
But the Red Sox also are getting new City Connect jerseys. They're green, like a seafoam green almost, kinda looking like the green monster.
I think I saw those ones.
And those look interesting, and again, I get the idea behind it, but I think they're kinda going a little too crazy with all these New Jersey variations. I don't know, I feel like
I eh,
but there's certain alternate jerseys that I think are great, like the Mets black jerseys, when the Cardinals wear
yeah,
their powder blues,
I think the Phillies powder blue ones
the Phillies
with the
powder blue are
maroon.
very iconic.
Yeah.
So I
There's
think
some
stuff like
nice
that,
ones.
but I think overdoing it is just too much. It's pretty gimmicky because they do that a lot in the minor leagues where they have so many different jerseys.
Well, they have, like, the alter names.
Right, like I went to a Somerset Patriots game, the Yankees Double A, about a week, 2 weeks ago,
Mhm.
and they had their regular Patriots jersey, and just under the logo, it was Mickey Mouse because it was Mickey Mouse night.
I mean, that's cool for the minor league games, like,
Right, but I'm
that's
saying is
cool,
like
but I don't know if I feel
it
like you overdo
feels
it in the majors.
that's what I'm saying is I feel like they're overdoing it, and it's getting minor league like gimmicky in the major league where
Well,
they're
I
doing so many different jersey variations.
honestly, I feel like MLB in recent years has been making a big push lately to try and be more and more like the Savannah Bananas league and stuff because I guess they want to be like that popular and exciting and stuff like that. And I think
Yeah.
you see a push from MLB trying to make MLB more like the Savannah Bananas. I mean, with them, I think MLB was talking about like having the golden batter rule
No, I don't
implemented.
think that was seriously considered
No,
though.
but I mean that like but I mean like the ideas are floating around and you're hearing them be like put but they're
So
being floated around
stupid.
though. They're being floated around by the commissioner,
So
by
stupid.
people. So I mean like you hear stuff being floated around. I mean you're doing all these jerseys.
I know, and
So
I can't stand it.
there's a big push to be I think more like the Savannah Bananas.
Let the Savannah Bananas be them, and I enjoy the Savannah Bananas. I have my, lottery out there to go see them play when they come to New York,
Yeah, I mean the Savannah Bananas, like I see them as like they're like the Globetrotters of baseball, but you
which
don't
is
see
what
the
they should
NBA
be.
trying to make the NBA more like the Harlem Globetrotters. You don't see so like baseball is baseball. I mean, I think it's doing fine. I mean, look at the games. I mean, like the good teams. I mean, they're always sold out.
Yeah.
I mean, and bad teams in sports, they're not going to sell tickets, and it's like that in every sport.
Let's kind of get into some injury talk though, because Tristan Cassis, first baseman of the Red Sox, is now out for the year with the worst possible like knee injury, worse than the holy trinity of the ACL and MCL and meniscus. He's got the patellar tendon tear,
Oof.
which is possibly career threatening because you lose so much athleticism trying to get back from that. Then you also have the Mets pitcher AJ Minter, who was off to a really good start. He's out with a lat surgery. He hurt his left lat, so now he's out for the year. Uh, it just sucks because these are guys that one Cassis is a guy that really needed to have a healthy year, play really well. It's a freak accident with him going to first base. Minter was pitching really well. He's lucky he signed a 2-year deal, but it's disappointing to see this happen. Then
It
you also
is.
have, well, then also you have the Rangers now hiring a new hitting coach in Brett Boone, brother of Yankee manager Aaron Boone. So I wonder if we'll ever see a reunion there where Boone hires his brother to be the hitting coach of the Yankees. And Brett Boone was objectively the better of the two brothers at baseball.
So I mean, you'll see. I mean, if he does good there, I mean, it's possible. He might be it might be a Yankees batting coach soon.
Yeah, it's definitely in the world of possibilities. But something that's also in the realm of possible things that can happen is Aaron Judge can go back to back in the MVP voting and take home his third, should be fourth MVP after one full month of the season. Who are, let's talk about a couple guys that could be in the MVP race. Now, starting with the American League, I feel like it right now is a runaway.
Well, Jaron
Aaron
Judge right
Judge,
away.
right?
Like I don't think anyone gets close to him right now after the like first month here.
I mean, he's still hitting over 400 as we record this. Another home run today. Tied with Schwarber and Cal Raleigh for the league lead with, I think it's 11 home runs. Can any, what, other than Judge getting hurt, is there really anything that could happen for Judge to not win this? He can go 0 for 60 in his next 60 at bats and still be hitting over 300.
I mean, the only thing that can happen is if one of the National League players gets traded to an American League team.
But even then, could they
That's
still top Judge?
I don't know. Judge is having I feel like almost like it's a video game esque season up to this
Carlos
point right
Stanton put
now.
it that way. He was asked about Judge, and he goes, Stanton says, I play a lot of MLB The Show, and I still can't do what Judge is doing in the video game.
I mean, it's hard. It's really hard. I mean, you can get up there. You might bet like 400 for like a game in the end of the show, and then you're back down into the 300s. So like what Judge is doing, like in real life in Major League Baseball against Major League pitchers, and he's batting over 400 for the month now. I mean, is it doesn't even seem real.
Judge went 2 for 5, and his batting average went down.
That's
He's,
insane.
he's putting up better numbers than roided out Barry Bonds. It's wild. But a couple other names to look at, Bobby Witt Jr. is in that conversation. Alex Bregman of the Red Sox is also playing extremely well.
Yep.
Now, neither guy's even close to Judge, and it shouldn't be close. But if it wasn't Judge, where do you lean on the Bregman, Witt, or other category?
I like Bobby Witt. I like Bobby Witt. I think Bregman's up there. I mean, you can go Cal Riley and was it Jose Ramirez too. I mean, there are other guys that you can talk about. I mean, I feel like let's like hypothetically, if Aaron Judge just wasn't in the American League, you'd probably give it to Witt. I think like he would be like number one for me, and then Bregman. But because Judge is there, you put Judge up there just because I just like you just putting up in real numbers, and it's like I don't know. It's like,
Right.
and the only reason I feel like he was even like I don't even think this year like Otani wouldn't even be competition for him this year, especially because Otani kind of took a step back.
Yeah.
It
Well,
seems.
I lean Bregman on the AL side. I think what he's doing in Boston is really keeping them in the conversation. He's playing really well, and I mean, everybody thought this too. His numbers and his hitter profile played really well in Fenway Park and in Boston. But on the National League side, it's a little bit more wide open. You got Fernando Tatis Jr., Pete Alonso, Francisco Lindor, Shohei Ohtani, Corbin Carroll, the Phillies closer.
Don't even
I mean,
talk about.
whoever's hitting against the Phillies closer.
Okay.
But where do you go on that side? Because again, like we said, AL's runaway with Judge. It's not even close. But I think it is close on the National League side of things.
I Too bad Ben's not here to hear this. I like Pete Alonso a lot. I like. I mean, you look back, and it's like I feel like the Mets kind of look kind of stupid now for not wanting to give him a contract because now like there's a good chance they might not even get to re-sign him next year.
I mean, he's still technically under contract. He's gonna opt
Yeah, but I
out.
think it's an opt out, and I feel like he'd be. I feel like if he keeps this the rest of the season, I feel like he'd be crazy not to opt out.
And I've talked with Ben about this, and I kind of do agree. What's gonna happen is Cohen's gonna tell Pete, go find your worth, bring it back to us, and we're either gonna match it or let you walk. And obviously the Mets are gonna match it. They have the money.
Well, I think they need to match it. Like I think you need. I think they need to match it because you need you need protection there for Soto. Like because I feel like if you lose Alonso, you're just relying on Lindor and Soto there, and I don't think you're gonna get the value out of Soto that way.
You know, I also would say Alonso would be my guess. Tatis probably is a close second, but we do need to acknowledge Shohei Ohtani because at the end of the year, there's always a Shohei Ohtani tax. We saw it with the rookie of the year in 2018, where he wasn't the best rookie, but based on his potential, they gave him rookie of the year, which will always bother me because he did not deserve it. But he's going to have another 50-50 season probably. Now,
Pa-
what he's doing, in my opinion, and I hate that it needs to be said, is nowhere near as historic and fun to watch as Aaron Judge. Like Ohtani isn't on Judge's level. Ohtani is in another tier below Judge. They're not in the same tier. They're not the same caliber player. Ohtani is a lesser player, but they are 1 and 2 in the league. And I
I
think
think
the fact that it's an argument is a shame because what Ohtani does as a pitcher is a mid-level starter. He's a number 3 starter, which is great, but he hasn't pitched in 2 years. And as a hitter, he's not even within 50 WRC plus of Judge.
I think you can look at it. I think the season he had, like last season, you can argue him and Judge are pretty close in level. I mean, I mean, Otani batted 300. He batted over 300 last year. 50 home runs, 50 stolen bases. I mean,
Well, let's compare their stats.
I mean, like that's nothing to. I mean, that's still incredible. I mean, that's
Judge
still
had
incredible.
let's say Judge had a 10.8 WAR to Otani's 9.2. Otani played in one more game, had a lot more plate appearances, had 17 more hits. Judge had 4 more home runs, 14 more RBIs. He hit 12 points higher. His on base percentage was almost 70 points higher. His slugging was 50 points higher. Obviously, his OPS at that point was, you know, 120 points higher. Judge had
Yeah, but
a 223 OPS plus to Otani's 189. Like, it's not close. That Judge is by far the better player, the better hitter.
Oh, well, you can't just discount Otani's stolen bases because that's generated runs too. Like that
Sure,
is generating runs.
59 stolen bases to 10 stolen bases, but Judge's walks compared to Otani's. Judge walked 133 times. Ohtani walked 81. Does that not wipe out the stolen bases where Judge is getting on base a lot more than Ohtani is?
I I don't
Remember,
know, but because like it's
there's a
going on
17 hit
base,
difference, which is
that's not
negligible.
scoring position. It's I
You're getting a
guess.
scoring position, but you're getting on base. You're working counts. Again, it's a 17 hit difference, so that's pretty negligible. That's really nothing. Do we want to say Otani's 7 triples to Judge's 1 triple? But then again, Judge had 14 more RBIs, which is a lot. 4 more home run, which is whatever. The strikeouts are within 9 of each other. So I think that putting Judge and Ohtani in the same category is disrespectful to and discounting what Judge does. But I think it's Judge, Ohtani, and then everybody else is way below both of them. And then just to keep it on track though with the MVP, Corbin Carroll is also having a very solid year. Now we talked about 8 names, right?
Yeah.
Do we think we nailed both the American and National League MVP at the end of the year on May 6th? Are they both in the 8 names that we
I
said?
would say we can lock in the American League MVP.
But the
Uh,
National League?
National League's hard to say because I mean it's hard to say, especially because I mean I don't know Pete Alonso. It's just I'm not really sure, and then Tatis. So
I'm gonna probably
it's
say
hard. It's difficult.
Lindor is gonna end up with the MVP as of right now. I don't think he is the MVP right now,
But you
but
think he's going to end with it?
come the end of the year, I think if it's not Ohtani being gifted another award, it'll be Lindor.
Well, I guarantee you, if Otani just kind of plays average and at least bats like over 260 and gets close to 50 home runs again, they're going to make that push for it anyway, just because he can pitch. And like you said, he's about a mid-level pitcher. Like
He's a
I don't know
good
why
pitcher.
he's a good pitcher, but I don't know why people he's a mid-level starter. But I don't know why people present and talk about Otani like he's like
A
the
Cy
number
Young.
one pit, like he's
Because
like this
last
the
time he
best
pitched, he
pitcher in
had
the
a
league.
good season. He had a very good season, but it's the fact that he can hit at that level and pitch at a you know above average level, which bumps up what people see.
Yeah, but it's just like the same thing. It's just like I feel like as they talk about him as like he is the best pitcher in baseball and he's also the best hitter in baseball. And I mean at times you can make the argument for the hitting stuff at times.
Well, here going over his
But the
pitching
pitching,
stats.
I just don't know where you get the pitching from because there's just so many more.
Well, if we here, let's look at his pitching stats.
Yeah,
Let's go 2018, he started 10 games and had a 3.31 ERA. That's pretty solid, but
that's good.
that's good, but
That's yeah.
then in 2020 in 2 games he had a 37 ERA. I'm not going to even count that. That's not fair to him.
No.
2021 a 3.18. Again, very very good, but that's not ace. That's not an ace level pitching. Not to the way he's being discussed. 2022 a 2.33 ERA in 28 games. That's great. Fantastic. And then go to 2023 in 23 games started a 3.14. He's got a career 3.01 ERA. He's a very good pitcher, but he's not this perennial Cy Young pitcher. He's gotten one season in his career where he's even received a Cy Young vote. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think with and even with like all the young pitchers coming up now, like I don't even know if he'd be even able to compete for a Cy Young again. I mean, if he keeps having that like around like the 3 ERA. because you're not going to win a Cy Young with that. But I can definitely see people just wanting to give it to him anyway.
Now, I do want to kind of discuss the Phillies a little bit right now. What's the state of Philadelphia?
I mean they're kind of back on track now. I don't remember their record for the past games, but they just beat the Rays
Phillies are
tonight.
4-2 since we last talked. They're
Yeah,
19-15 overall,
20 and 15.
not counting today's game.
What kind of days? Yeah, okay. Well, they won today.
They won today.
They won today. They beat the Rays. They're I think 2.5 games behind the Mets now. They're doing good. I mean, they're starting to hit. I mean, you had like Trey Turner is starting to hit. I think he's batting over 300, and they really needed that. Bryson Stott's starting to settle in that leadoff role. Schwarber's starting to hit home runs.
Right.
I mean, you got Marsh back. I mean, Rojas is hitting. I think was hitting close to 300. I mean, you have all these guys starting to hit. Everyone's starting to hit. You have Nola getting wins. You got everyone getting wins. I mean, Suarez came back, but he had a rough outing, really rough outing. I think he only lasted like 2 innings when
That's
in
rough.
his last start. Um, see if I can get like I think he did not have a great last start. He went 3 and 2/3 innings, gave up 7 runs.
Yeah, that's
That's not great. But surprisingly, he didn't even get the loss. Alvarado got the loss because the Phillies actually came back a bit at the at the end there, and they tied it up in extra innings. And then Alvarado came in and just he gave up 2 runs, and that was the end.
right.
So they're looking good, but I think it's just that closer role is still a question mark for me. I do not feel comfortable with that. I mean, they're hitting now, and I knew they were going to hit. Like that wasn't a question that they weren't going to start. They were if they were going to hit, if they were going to be able to hit this year, like they were. It was just a matter of time. And the starting pitching's coming around, which is fine. Which is good. But that bullpen, I am not.
You're not a fan?
I I I'm not a fan. I'm still not a fan. I was not a fan of the bullpen. I feel like the last 2 years, I'm still not a fan of the bullpen.
What is the brightest part of Philadelphia baseball right now? Where would you say is like the bright star?
The bright star.
Like, what is
Let's
the
see.
one thing you can look at with the baseball team and take away? It's like this is like with the Yankees, obviously, it's Aaron Judge and what he's doing. What's the one aspect of Philly baseball that, like, for the whole month, would you say has been like the best part? Like, what's the one thing that's been like
I don't.
the biggest key to put the Phillies where they are right now?
Schwarber's hitting home runs. Schwarber's starting to hit home runs. That's the thing. Actually, I think the biggest. I'm gonna go thing is Bryson Stott settling into that leadoff role.
Yeah,
That I think that's one of the thing because I feel like he has not done well in that leadoff role in past years, and he seemed to do better off in that like 6 and below spot there. And I think that's probably been the bright spot is him actually doing good in the leadoff role there. I think he's had a little bit of a rough go at it this past week a bit, but like other than that, he was settling in that leadoff role. And if you really want to look at it, bright stars like the Phillies, I think uh, Andrew Painter is really close to coming up,
okay.
and they have a Otto Kemp is having he's I believe a third baseman for their AAA team. He's batting like over 300 right now in the minors, and he had a great May in AAA. So you look at the bright spots, like they have some really good young talent coming up.
We'll see. Hopefully, the Phillies can get something going. You know, the Mets briefly are 4-4 since we last talked, 23-13 overall. 1-0 versus Washington last week. 1-2 versus Arizona. 1-2 versus St. Louis. Now 1-0 again versus Arizona. Arizona playing both the Phils and the Mets. the Mets, they're going to be fine. They're 10
I
games over 500 already.
I
And
think
not,
the Mets though, I'll tell you, I think they're gonna come down to earth a little bit and you're gonna see them fall behind because I think their pitching is pitching way above than they actually are right now. And I don't think they can sustain that the whole season.
that's very, very possible. We saw it seems like the Dodgers fall back down. The Padres, you know, they're still playing a little bit above their heads. We saw the Braves ramp it up a little bit. The Orioles still struggle, but the Mets definitely could fall back down. But then again, this could just be who they are, and we'll have to
I
wait and see.
I mean it's possible that somehow you just have pitchers now who, weren't really anything before and now all of a sudden they are, which I mean is possible. I think it's unlikely,
Right.
but I mean it's possible. I just, I just feel like they're playing way well above, than they actually are. How like kind of how I thought like the Braves are playing well under than they actually are.
Now the Yankees, since we last talked, were 2-5, 19-16 overall. 1-2 versus Baltimore, 1-2 versus Tampa, 0-1 versus San Diego. Now they did win today versus San Diego, but that doesn't count. Devin Williams has probably single-handedly lost the Yankees every single one of their games of the season. It feels a man that does not deserve a beard. He made them change their beard policy, and he still has sucked. It's rough. It's been rough. They've choked away a lot of games, a lot of boneheaded decisions. Cody Bellinger is not who we thought he was. Ben Rice, Goldschmidt, Judge, Trent Grisham. Grisham's a guy that has been playing insane. Volpe and Wells, need to develop a little bit more, but they're fine. It's just tough. Outside of Max Fried and Carlos Rodon, our pitching is giving nothing. The DFA Carlos Carrasco, but he's probably on his way back at some point. Clark Schmidt still working his way back from that injury. He's pitching, but still ramping up. He had a good outing today, but no consistency, none at all. Fried's got like a 1.01 ERA, which is pretty good, pretty good. We'll see how he faces off against the Padres lineup tomorrow versus I think that's Dylan Cease. The Yankees did beat the Padres again today with Michael King on the mound. He
So
didn't get the loss, but that was still pretty solid beat. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, a guy that the Yankees are definitely going to be looking into. It's just been a tough week again, 2-5. Hopefully they play a bit better. They have another one versus the Padres, and then they travel off to Oakland, and start a West Coast trip.
I
I believe
mean
they have,
it's
was that
I said it's a tough week, but I mean they're in first place.
they are. But now they go to Oakland and Seattle. West Coast trips. John, how do the Phillies do on West Coast trips?
Oh, horrendous. I don't want to talk about it.
And I feel like that goes for every team on the East Coast because nobody likes going to the West Coast. The Yankees always struggle, and I know for a fact that I've heard Ben and my other Met fan friends say how bad the Mets do on the West Coast. It's never a fun time, no matter how good you are and how bad your opponent is. The West Coast is always a side of horrors.
The only thing the Phillies do good on the West Coast is they beat the Dodgers.
Good.
They pretty much own the Dodgers.
Let's get that rolling in October, though, right?
They haven't had a chance because the Dodgers usually either the Dodgers get knocked out or the Phillies are knocked out before they can meet. So maybe
Getting into
this
this,
year.
getting into the studs and duds, though. My stud, Kansas City third baseman Michael Garcia, 6 games, right? 22 at bats, 12 hits, 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. He's hitting 545 with a 1.524 OPS. That's a great hitting week from a guy that struggled, really struggled early on in the season, where I feel like at one point he was one of our duds. I'll have to fact check that at some point. But my dud this week is Angel starting pitcher Reed Detmer, is a guy I was high on a few years ago. He's 0-2, but only in 1/3 of an inning pitched. He's given up 8 hits, 1 walk, 9 earned runs in 1/3 of an innings pitched. His ERA, John, he's got a 2.43 ERA, not a 2.43,
A two.
243.00 ERA. Hitters are hitting 889 against him over the last week. If that's not a dud, I don't know what is.
I mean, that sounds like he needs to be sent back down to the minors there to get his head straight or get something worked out. Because sounds like something's not working for him.
Yeah. Now,
That's
what about you?
crazy.
Who's your stud? Who's your dud?
My stud, former Baltimore Orioles, now Marlins, Kyle Stowers, 8 hits, 4 home runs, 10 RBIs, walked once, batted 308. One of those home runs was a grand slam. So I guess the Orioles wish they didn't trade him away.
Yeah, they definitely struggled.
Because I think they can use that. I think they could use him this season. But it's always a. I feel like if you hit a grand slam, you're just gonna have a good week. I feel like. Now my dud, Christian Yelich, 2 hits, and he has 1 home run, 2 RBIs. But even though with that, he's batting, and he has 14 strikeouts, and he's batting .074. So even with the 1 home run, even with the 1 home run, he's 14 strikeouts, and you're batting like way under 100. That's really bad.
That is.
That is just, especially for a player of his caliber, that is just you don't like to see that.
Now, weekly series highlight wise, where are you leaning?
I'm leaning Dodgers, Diamondbacks.
Ooh, intra division.
It's kind of Dodgers first place. Diamondbacks are 5.5 games behind them. You know, but Diamondbacks playing well, they were playing a little bit well, but good. But they have Corbin Carroll, Ohtani. So this could be maybe Diamondbacks sweep them, get some games up on the Dodgers. Maybe the Dodgers sweep them and just kind of put the Diamondbacks kind of away there. No chance of winning the NL West there, and they have to bide for a wild card spot.
For me, I'm gonna go Cubs Mets. Cubs a really good team. Mets right now with the best record in baseball. Cubs leading their division, but they're 1 game behind the Mets. I still think the Cubs might end up choking away their division, but they still have their best team right now on paper. Encouraging stuff coming back about Shota Imanaga and his injury that he suffered. I think that was a hamstring, I want to say, or something in the
Yeah, I
legs.
believe it. I think
Mets obviously 2.5 games up on the Phillies in their division, 5.5 up on Atlanta. Watch out. Cubs 3.5 on Milwaukee, 4.5 on St. Louis and the Reds. I think the Cubs and Mets are going to be a playoff showdown. I know I say that every week, but that's the kind of series I look for. What's the best series that is going to replicate the feeling of October? It's going to have a bunch of the same teams. The Cubs are going to be there. The Mets, the Phillies, the Dodgers, the Padres, the Diamondbacks, the Yankees. Even the Red Sox are going to be in that type of category.
Red Sox are only two games behind the Yankees.
2.5 behind the Yankees.
Yeah, 2.5. So you're going to see a lot of these. You hear a lot of these teams, being talked about during the playoffs and leading up to the playoffs. And surprisingly, I didn't think the Cubs were going to be this good. I don't know. I don't know if we had the Cubs in first when we talked about the previews, or if we still thought the Brewers were going to be leading it.
Now, I did say the Mets have the best record in baseball, and that was a lie. The Dodgers are 24-12, while the Mets are 23-13. So 1 game better. But at that point, it doesn't even matter.
Well, it's
The
because
Mets
the Dodgers played the Cubs like 10 times already.
Honestly, so it's going to be interesting to see if the Mets could, replicate the Dodgers' success versus the Cubs. But that's going to do it here for us. Corey, Jason, John, Pauline. We'll be back at it next week. Maybe we'll talk about some Cy Young, maybe some Rookie of the Year. I don't know yet. We'll see where the week takes us. Hopefully, we got some big news. Maybe the Yankees go undefeated this week. Maybe the Phillies do. Maybe the Mets do. Hopefully, we'll get Dylan and Ben back to join us. But for the Outsider Sports Baseball podcast, Corey and John signing off.